Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Life is all about the simple pleasures, and at Harvey Washbangers, they have perfected the simple and the pleasures. Do you love a hamburger? Who doesn't love a delicious hamburger? At Harvey Washbangers, they have the best burgers in town. Maybe you're just looking for meat, cheese, bun, Harvey Washbangers. But what about the gourmet burgers? It's what Michael and the gang does best. Harvey Washbangers. They have a commitment to Texas craft beers. Cold, delicious, what's new? They do tap takeovers. That's Harvey Washbangers. And clean clothes. They have wash, dry, fold. They have pickup wash, dry, fold. And if you stop by Harvey Washbangers, they've got the latest washers, dryers. You can pay every conceivable way I think we have today. Stop by, check it out for yourself. Harvey Washbangers. Best burgers in town, Texas craft beers, and get your clothes clean too. HarveyWashbangers.com.
One of our biggest problems today is that we are afraid to have others challenge our mindset, and therefore we avoid topics that can lead to challenging conversations. At a young age, we're told not to talk about anything that is remotely divisive, but without having challenging conversations, how do you know that what you're saying is your truth and not just something you were raised to believe? Having conversations is how we learn. It's important to be able to see the other sides of things in order to form an opinion and choose what's best for you. Let's say you were raised to shower with all your clothes on. You could go throughout life thinking that is the best way to get clean. And if you never meet anyone brave enough to talk about hygiene, then you may never know that there is a better way. There's no reason to be afraid of differences. Limiting yourself to certain topics can render yourself unable to talk to friends, coworkers, or even family. To avoid challenging conversations is the same as to keep your mind trapped in a little box. Open your box and start having more civic conversations.
Civility. It's an American thing. From AmericanThing.org.
In Africa, 5-year-old Chiru has no choice. She and millions like her must walk miles every day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom that expands their minds, and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses caused by dirty water. At World Vision, care about clean water runs deep. Deep enough to reach one new person with clean water every 10 seconds. Because every child, every person, everywhere deserves clean water and a chance to rise to their full potential. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
You are now listening to the sound.
Your home for Sunday Night Football is the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Bryan police receive a report of a man who was found dead in a home by someone who knew the victim. A BPD spokesman tells WTAW News that there is evidence of a homicide. An autopsy will be done, and the victim's identity is expected to be released today. Officers responded yesterday morning to a home on Cavett, a block north of Carson. College Station's new mayor says it will take some time to negotiate an agreement with Texas A&M to acquire space at the former Macy's store at Post Oak Mall.
Citizens will see some real outcome from that, certainly from the Macy's project in the next, I'd say, 6 months to a year in terms of initiatives, the letter of intent between the university and the city on the Macy's building.
John Nichols says the city is also negotiating to sell land, hinting that could involve a portion of 200 acres the city owns next to the recently opened Costco store. Brazos County's new congressman is also the incoming chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Speaking on WTAW, Michael McCall of Austin brought up illegal immigrants crossing a wide-open Mexican border during the Biden administration.
And now the fentanyls are pouring in from China. we've lost 75,000 children this year due to fentanyl. Put that in perspective, that's as many as we lost in Vietnam over 2 decades.
McCall plans to visit leaders in Mexico and Central America to renegotiate the so-called Remain in Mexico agreements that were made during the Trump administration, though McCall does not expect the Biden administration will take action. He says because the U.S. does not have enough detention space, illegals are released with a notice to appear and then they disappear. There are additional early voting hours in the Bryan City Council runoff election the next 2 days from 7 until 7. Brazos County Elections Administrator Trudy Hancock reports 213 early voters through the first 3 days. More information is at brazosvotes.org. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
As a real estate agent in the Brazos Valley, we have a few questions for you. Do you desire to grow your business? Are you passionate about exceeding client expectations? Would you rather work with a local company backed by Compass, the largest, most innovative independent brokerage in America? What are you waiting for? Lone Star Realty, a strong local brand with instant recognition, awaits your move. Contact William Sears at LoneStarBCS.com. Your successful future in real estate is just a click away. Lone Star Realty. Experience, integrity, results. An equal opportunity employer.
When you're in a bad accident, you have 1,000 things you're worried about. Medical bills, your family, your job, your health. I'm attorney Hunter Shurtleff, and my goal is to ease my clients' worries. Let me deal with the army of insurance adjusters, the other lawyers, and the bill collectors. I'm selective in what cases my firm takes, so I can provide the best legal services, and you get to talk to me, not an assistant or a receptionist. Find out more about Shurtleff Law at bcsattorney.com.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hilcosupply.com. Texas A&M men's basketball continued its winning ways last night, pulling away from SMU 83-64. The Aggies got it done in the paint, scoring 48 points inside. Big man Henry Coleman III.
I mean, we prepare every game, to score from the outside, score from the inside, so I guess it was just our night inside.
Coleman finished the night with 23 points, and Wade Taylor IV added 13 as the Ags improved to 5-2 on the year. Now over on the women's side of the court, nothing doing for the Maroon and White as it fell to Kansas 74-42. Coach Joni Taylor on her message to the team after the loss.
We can't feel sorry for ourselves. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us, and we've got to continue to accept that challenge. Where can we be better? We're going to obviously go back and watch the film and digest it and talk about it and teach and coach. And what I can say is that they've continued to have really good attitudes and outlook on everything. They're excited about what it is we're doing.
Sydney Bowles finished with a team-high 14 points for the Aggies, who fall to 4-3 on the year. And A&M offensive lineman Layden Robinson has been named to the SEC Community Service Team. The junior from Manville has volunteered at Twin City Missions along with Texas A&M Athletic Sports Day events, where he worked with the local Boys and Girls Club to teach children about football and other sports. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Yo, it's Jay Williams from Keyshawn, J. Will and Max. They told us we can give you guys anything we wanted, so we're giving away free cash.
You wanna talk about money?
We're giving away $10K a day, and all you have to do is listen to us for a chance to win.
You can win $2,500 an hour every hour, weekday mornings 5 to 8, here on The Zone with Keyshawn, J. Will and Max, powered by WC Tractor.
If I'm going to do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggieland. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were you talking about?
It's bull crap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio. Right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Hey, hit records on my demo. Did y'all boys not get the memo?
All right, Aggie basketball looking pretty
pretty good yesterday. Welcome into TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Maroon never looks so good with Maroon U. Olin Buchanan with us, as he always is, our Heisman Trophy voter, which we're going to talk the Heisman here in the next segment. And, of course, our columnist extraordinaire. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What did you think of the little game yesterday?
I thought A&M played, especially in a 10-minute stretch, they played about a perfect defensive game as you can play.
Yeah.
And they turned those, what's the old line, beat them like a rented mule. They turned the Mustangs into a rented mule.
Yeah, they did.
It was very dominant second half. It was very impressive. I mean, they were good the whole game.
The first half, they were definitely the better team. They just never were able to sustain that lead long enough.
Yeah, and that's not
basketball.
that unusual, right? As the game progresses, depth takes a toll. Just the fact that you're the better athlete and basketball player takes a toll. In fact, if this one kid from SMU, their guard number 1, they had a funny name.
Yeah.
And I can't think of it right now. You know, he's bombing threes more than he had all year. And if not for him, they really had no other option because A&M was taking everything away.
Couple things I noticed. I think the score could have been significantly more worse for SMU. A&M missed a bunch of shots up close.
Early,
yeah. A bunch of shots, like just, either they were fouled or they didn't call the foul sometimes, or they just were off on these breaks. But there were some gimmies there.
There were, I think, Henry Coleman missed 3, I don't want to call them easy layups, but layups you expect him to make.
There you go.
To start the game. And yet he ends up the rest of the game. He scored 23. And so if he missed 3, then he made 10 of his last 15 shots. So after missing his first 3, he shot 66.7%.
He had himself.
You'll take that.
They were really – it looked to me, OB, that they were making a concerted effort to go to the paint often. Like they wanted to score in the paint.
Yeah, I think so. But also, I mean, they were getting it done. And SMU really has more height down low.
Yeah.
But A&M, there was one play early, just spectacular ball movement, and it led up to.
You're talking about the Anderson pass in the middle when they had three passes and they got the ball to Henry?
No, actually, I think that was to Julius Marble. And for a dunk.
Yep.
And you're like, man, if that's what we're going to be seeing tonight, this is going to be fun. And it was. And you might remember what I think was the most memorable play, and it says a lot about this team, is in the second half when they were on their run. Wade Taylor steals the ball. He's going downfield on a break or down court on a break. There's one guy coming over. You think he's going to go up and lay it up easy, Instead, he drops the pass backwards because he knows that Coleman is trailing, and he comes in and finishes. And that was just, really, really fun to see.
I don't know if SMU is any good, but they did not look good. And I'm going to put some of that on A&M's defense because they were very defensive. I really loved the energy throughout the game. Again, more of what we expected to see from them. But the real test, Boise State's going to be a test. But the real test, I think, for the non-conference is going to be when they go to Memphis.
Yeah. Boise State is going to be a test. That's a good basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
I think A&M's up to it.
Sure.
I think it'll be a good game. We'll see how that goes. But, yeah, Memphis not only is a good team, it's a good program with a lot of name recognition, played for the national championship a couple of times. So, you look forward to that one. But, you can earn some recognition with a win over Boise.
Heck yeah. Again, I think because I'm the worrier and we went through what we went through last year, the Colorado game still is in the back of my head always when they play. And maybe that's a good thing for the team to know that, that is possible if you don't bring your absolute A game.
Oh, absolutely. They've got to do a better job defending at the three-point line.
Yeah.
That's what was a real problem in the loss to Murray State, and then obviously in the loss to Colorado. They hit 16 three-pointers in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And even, again, SMU, that one kid, Zahn, I can't can't even remember his name, but man, he was raining 3-pointers there. He had 5 in the first half, but only 2 in the second half. He finished with 23 points, but he only had 6 points in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see the Nebraska story, Mickey Joseph?
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, he was. So
Strangled.
the season, the season ends and he gets angry.
Well, I mean, wasn't it a home thing?
Yeah, it was a home thing.
So who knows? Well, I mean, who knows what's going on in his house?
Yeah,
right.
Just caught my attention when I saw that out there. Strangling, 3rd-degree domestic assault. Lincoln Police.
Awful.
Yeah, terrible. He was the guy who took over for Scott Frost. If you don't know that,
so they went from one guy who chokes to another guy who strangles.
Well, Matt Rule's probably not going to keep him on the staff, I'm assuming.
No, I think that's a pretty safe assumption. You know, Pittsburgh hired a coach a few years ago, Michael Haywood, and he never coached a game because before the season started, not long after he had been hired, he was arrested for domestic abuse.
And it looks like the last remaining obstacle for the college football playoffs has been resolved. It looks like the Rose Bowl has agreed to be a part of this playoff expansion. The final 2 seasons of the current contract are 24 and 25, so it's becoming more and more likely that real soon we'll be getting those expanded playoffs.
Yeah, that would, whose attention that would get, if it, I would think is Notre Dame, because the Rose Bowl's all steeped in tradition, and they thought they had a lot of power. And it turns out they had as much power as college football was willing to give them. And they were saying, no, we want it. We're going to be a part of this, but you've got to guarantee us that we're going to play at 2:00 on January 1st because that's what we do.
Right.
And the people in charge said, no, we don't have to do that. So, in fact, if you don't want to get on board with us, we'll just pick another bowl.
We'll just take the Birmingham Bowl.
Well, they probably would have said holiday. Right? San Diego. We'll just go to San Diego.
Which really should be part of the SEC mix, just to be honest with you. Now that I'm thinking out
San
loud.
Diego, Las Vegas. Yeah,
I think that, Las Vegas every other year is a possibility, but I really think San Diego needs to get in the mix.
It's a lot nicer than L.A., that's for sure.
I used to live in San Diego in 2001, and it's by far the best city I've ever lived in.
It's amazing. I enjoy San
Very
Diego.
laid back.
Yeah,
not
beautiful.
It's not the $30,000 a year millionaire vibe that you might get in LA from the non-celebrities. It's an awesome town. Hey, let's give out the phone number. If you want to be a part of the conversation this morning, you can do that at 979-693-1150. You can text us on that line as well. That is the A&B text line, A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas banking, the website, ANB.com. We go behind the glass, say hello to Nick Savage.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
Morning.
How are you, sir?
I am great. Another great basketball win, and something that's interesting to me, it seems like at least these past few games, there's one guy that's stepping up big time in the scoring, like I believe it was Boots Radford last game. 31. 23 from Henry Coleman yesterday. So I don't know if that's, just a product of
that's a Buzz
these
Williams
guys.
Team.
Yeah, so that's good to see. That's encouraging.
It started out, I thought it might be Julius Marble.
Yep.
I keep wanting to call him Roy Marble. That's his cousin who played in the NBA. But Julius Marble, he had like 8 real early. Thought, okay, this guy's going to go off.
Yeah.
But he had 10. I'll take 10 from Julius Marble every single game.
Absolutely you will. Yeah. Anything else on your mind this morning, good old Nick? All right. He's mad at me because he told me not to go and do him, and I went to him anyway. That was by design. Let's go to Anna Rosa Peterson there at the News and Social Center. Good morning, ARP.
Good morning and happy December. How are we already here?
That's right. It is December 1st.
It is. I feel like yesterday was kind of a national holiday for us Spotify users. I don't know if either of you use Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify Wrapped came out.
I got my Wrapped.
Who is your top artist? Bad Bunny, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Nobody's surprised.
Nicki Jam. Number 3, Maluma. Number 4... I don't remember, but Drake was number 5.
What about you, OB?
Whiskey Myers might be 6 or number 2 next year.
I got no rap or no Spotify.
Oh.
How do you get your music? Old-fashioned way, AM radio?
No, not AM radio. I have Pandora.
Oh, okay.
I listen.
That's even more ancient.
Is it?
Arguably.
It's more ancient than AM radio.
I don't know.
I think not. Yeah, I use that or whatever app comes up on my phone, and of course the radio, good old fashioned radio.
Who doesn't love the radio, right?
When I'm not listening to sports.
Yeah,
talk.
I typically listen to my podcast. I have a lot more hours of podcasts than I have of music.
I have my iPod.
You still have an iPod?
Yeah, actually, I still do.
You legit do?
And it still works fine. Why replace it just because there's some new crap? If something works, why replace it?
So I was a little worried, Ana Rosa, a little worried because my daughter Isla listens to our Spotify more than anybody else. Right? She is like on it a lot. She loves Taylor Swift. We'll listen to that all day. But Cruz and Daddy Me, we listened to a lot of Bad Bunny. So Bad Bunny was the number one artist for us. So.
You know what I think is really stupid about people that listen to rap?
What's that?
Okay, and so did you see the story recently about the kid who'd been offered a scholarship of quarterback to Florida?
Saying the lyrics, yeah.
So, look, I get it. There's certain words you just shouldn't say, and they're unacceptable. But if they're so unacceptable, then why are they accepted to be played in public? And if something is public, why do we expect a song people not to sing along to it?
We're in a different day, my friend.
So I can't figure out why people hadn't figured out. Look, if I'm going to listen to this, I can listen, but I can't sing because you want my money, but I can't fully enjoy it because if I do, I could lose everything. So why do you even go there? I wonder. It makes no sense to me.
Sing the song, you mean, out loud?
Yeah. It makes no sense. Or even partake in it because the very people that want you to buy their product also want to cancel you if you sing their product. Does that not seem bewildering to anybody?
Well, I don't.
But me?
I don't know the entire specifics of that story because I don't know if the rapper was the one who was upset.
Well,
I think culture got upset.
Well, but isn't that part of the culture, though?
I don't know. I've never heard Dr. Dre.
Well, I just saw a guy one time. I saw a lady on. It was a video, and she got pulled up on stage at a rap concert, and the rapper, wanted her to sing.
Oh, the Kendrick Lamar.
And
concert,
then she
right?
did.
Yeah.
And then he got all put off by it.
Kendrick got mad about it. I have not seen
He
that.
did. He stopped the show. And
So what the
everything.
Look, again, I get that certain words that are very prevalent in rap, which then why don't you just take that word out of your vocabulary, rappers?
Hey, I got something for Nick. Nick, your boy Whiskey Myers. Are you there? You still listening? Still here?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
All right. I didn't realize Whiskey Myers and Ryan Bingham use a lot of bad words in some of their songs.
I mean, Whiskey Myers only like Frogman, I can think of.
Frogman.
Drops an F-bomb.
Yeah. Did we play Frogman on the air yesterday?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
It's in the chorus anyway. They have to play it for a while.
You said bad words or the words?
No, bad words. Like
profanity.
Profanity.
Oh,
Ryan Bingham only has a couple songs, too, that he drops.
Well, I just heard it yesterday. I was like, ooh, I'm glad I didn't pick that for the show.
Profanity's not even that big a deal anymore.
Don't worry.
It used to be that politicians were very careful about what they say. But when you see politicians dropping the compound word that includes mother when they're talking about other politicians, then that basically says it's okay to use that kind of language. But no one is signing off on the slurs, and yet we still market it. We still sell it.
Mr. Cheek says if you had an OB Spotify rap, it would be Waylon Jennings.
You damn right.
Damn right.
You damn right, because I'm lonesome, ornery, and mean. I've already forgotten the first line in that song, so I apologize.
Ana Rosa, we'll try to fit in the word of the day at some point today.
I'm sorry, Ana Rosa. I went on a harangue and took your
Sorry.
time.
It's the Hannity Report here on TexAgs.
No, I just don't get that.
Hey, give us quick news, though. Women's basketball, I know, had a hard one last night.
Yes, the team dropped Wednesday night's game last night against the Kansas Jayhawks 74-42 inside Allen Fieldhouse. So that was a tough game for them. In lighter news, Layden Robinson in football was named to the Southeastern Conference Community Service Team, also announced Wednesday. And then in basketball, also much better news. Henry Coleman and Julius Marble powered the Aggies to a 83-64 win over the SMU Mustangs over a 6,956 crowd at Reed Arena last night.
Hey, I do want to read this text message on the A&B text line. Best city you ever lived in, huh? Talking about San Diego, and I think he's like, you live in freaking College Station. Let me kind of frame it like this. I wouldn't want to raise my kids in San Diego, and I love Miami too. I don't want to raise my kids in Miami. I want to raise my kids and my family in Bryan College Station. That was a choice. Because, by the way, I probably could have gone to Miami or San Diego or wherever, right? I love this community, but there's something about that beach environment.
Big city?
Yeah, like there's something about that beach environment. If I was a multimillionaire, San Diego would really be attractive to me. How about that?
I love living in College Station. I've lived in a lot of big cities, and I'd prefer to live in College Station. Now, if College Station was right on a beach,
now that
like San Diego, not just like Galveston Beach, like a real beautiful beach. So that would change. That would be paradise right there.
The one thing though, and we got to hit a break here, is the San Diego beach when I lived there was always cold. I was used to the Atlantic.
Yeah,
and it's warm.
Yeah,
that San Diego,
the whole Pacific.
Summertime, just cold.
I went to Hawaii and the water was chilly.
Oh, no, I'm good. Hey, let's talk about the Association of Former Students. They've been around for about 140 years, and your financial gifts have empowered them to be here, to be there, to be everywhere. And they're such a great organization because their mission is to give back and give back to all Aggies all around the world. And part of the thing they want to do is showcase Aggies and their stories because you're their why. So they created IamTheWhy.com, a place where you can see stories about Aggies, see their perspectives, their time here at Texas A&M, here and beyond, and what the Aggie degree meant to them and their life. That Aggie network is so strong. You can upload your story there on I Am The Why as well. Just check it out. Again, they've been doing it because they love giving to Aggies all over the place. It is IamTheWhy.com. Again, that website, IamTheWhy.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Brazos Valley Chorale will perform familiar Christmas Carol excerpts from their upcoming concert on the steps of St. Andrews this Friday at 7 p.m. Then at 7:30 and 8, the Glen Bryan Theater Troupe will perform Fellow Passengers, a narrative adaptation of Charles Dickens' novel A Christmas Carol. An after-action review by Nicholas Moran, military vehicle expert and historian for Wargaming America, is this Saturday at 2:30 p.m. at the Museum of the American GI. Visit AmericanGIMuseum.org for more information. You're invited to a free community Christmas concert at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in College Station, Saturday at 6 p.m. Listen to your favorite holiday hits on our sister station, Christmas 97.3 FM. Guaranteed to get you humming along. Your favorite holiday hits 24/7 on Christmas 97.3 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
When we started Intercon in early 1991, we were well aware that we would be competing with some companies that use unscrupulous techniques to make a quick sale, such as bait and switch, or 40% off if you commit today, or misleading incomplete quotes. Intercon's practice is to be completely honest and encourage prospective customers to talk to our former customers. We've encouraged customers to get multiple quotes. We are confident and proud of our value proposition for windows, glass, and solar screens. We never want anyone to rush into a decision they will regret in the future. Just remember, warranties are only as good as the people who provide them and are servicing the area when situations arise. This is our home and only marketplace, and we will protect our home turf. You've probably heard the saying, the buck stopped here, and that is with me, Brad Beard, president and co-owner of Intercon LLC.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Grab your first cup of coffee weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor right here on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus, online at RadioAggieland.com. WC Tractor, your local award-winning Kubota in New Holland. Do you have questions? Look them up online at WCTractor.com. That's WCTractor.com. You can also call them at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor.
Make the Bellucci Hour a part of your Aggie football game week. Every Thursday, 1 till 2, Billy Lucci of TexAgs joins me. Hi, I'm Louis Bellina, and it's the Bellucci Hour brought to you by Dos Equis. Enjoy the college football season with your friends and a cold, refreshing Dos Equis lager. Get a dose. It's the Bellucci Hour. It's a maroon and white world, and Billy's here to help us get through it. The Bellucci Hour, every Thursday at 1, a part of the Louis Bellina Show.
On a Greyhound bus.
Waylon?
You damn right it is. Can't be living long like this.
Well, it's not healthy, though.
I actually am a big fan of Waylon Jennings' music. Did you know Waylon Jennings, this is probably common knowledge, so you probably know this, that Waylon Jennings was scheduled to be on the plane in
with
which Buddy Holly
Buddy
died,
Holly, yeah.
because he was
Yeah.
part of the band.
Yeah.
And the Big Bopper talked him out of a seat or somehow.
And Richie Valens?
Well, Richie Valens was already on the plane.
Was he?
But yeah, he was obviously the third guy.
Richie! Sorry. TexAgs Radio. You watched the movie La Bamba?
I've seen it, yes.
Yeah, there's a scene where his brother, what's his brother's name? Dave?
I don't recall.
Somebody will text and tell me because we make a lot of mistakes. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, and it is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. OB, shall we do the Heisman Watch brought to you by Shurtleff Law Firm? Shurtleff Law Firm, delivering justice for those who need it most. We're here. It's time. Like we're, a week away? 10 days away?
Actually, I will make my official vote come
Sunday.
I'll probably do it Monday. But
it's due that week.
But it's due. I always, like I said yesterday, I always wait till after the championship games, because if you didn't, Colt McCoy would have won it.
Right.
And then the Commandant Sue took it away from him. But okay, so here we go. Number 5. I only picked 3 when it comes to the actual Heisman vote, but number 5, I'm sticking with Hendon Hooker, the Tennessee quarterback. The injury just derailed his candidacy, but gosh, you still have to look at what he did this year. 69.6% completion percentage, 3,155 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions, 430 yards rushing, 5 scores for a team that's 10-2. Man, that's a Heisman worthy year. Number 4, I put Blake Corum, the Michigan running back. Obviously, him not being it there didn't hurt Michigan against Ohio State, but he's still one of the main reasons the Wolverines are unbeaten. Rushed for 1,463 yards and 18 touchdowns this year, 11 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. So I think Blake Corum is a guy that deserves some consideration. Number 3, I would put C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State quarterback. You can't blame him for that loss to Michigan. He completed 64.4% of his passes for 349 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, but Stroud has finished the regular season 3,340 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions. I had to drop my guy from 1 to 2 last week, Max Duggan, the quarterback from TCU. A lot of reasons to vote for Max. The Horned Frogs are undefeated. He just threw for 212 yards and 3 touchdowns and 3 quarters of play in a blowout of Iowa State. And he has a chance to add to his candidacy this week against Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game. But on the season, Duggan has passed for 3,070 yards, 29 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, rushed for 294 yards and 5 touchdowns. But I think what really is interesting about Max Duggan is 3 games he's led a drive for a game-winning score or to force overtime in the last 2 minutes. So, I mean,
clutch
that's
gene right there.
Spectacular. And then the guy I would have put number 1 right now is Caleb Williams, the USC quarterback, 232 yards and a touchdown, and ran for 3 touchdowns in that big win over Notre Dame. He has a chance to boost his candidacy in the Pac-12 championship game against Utah. Overall this season, Williams 3,712 passing yards and 34 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. He's also rushed for 351 yards and 10 touchdowns.
So let's play a scenario out. USC loses. He has an average game.
Mm-hmm.
TCU wins. You think Max Duggan?
Yeah, then I think Max Duggan win. But I do think that there's probably a lot of people out there that I think I should say Max will have a chance if that happens.
C.J. Stroud still has a chance, though.
Still has a chance. I think that there's a lot of folks that'll vote for Caleb Williams just because he's a USC quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think, or I should put it this way, there's a lot of people that won't vote for Max Duggan just because he's the TCU quarterback.
I believe that. I believe that to be true. And then if Caleb wins, that'll be Lincoln Riley's third Heisman Trophy winner. Does that sound right?
Yeah. And the first one he actually recruited.
Yeah. Huh. Looks good on your resume when you're trying to recruit kids, so.
Yeah, you can definitely sell that. I know he was – Jalen Hurts was close. They couldn't close one out there, but then he became an NFL star quarterback. It's funny, of all the quarterbacks that he's coached, the best one in the NFL has been Jalen Hurts.
Yep. Let's do this. Let's take this caller, then we got to hit a break. Wallace, you're calling in from Huntsville. Welcome to TexAgs Radio.
Hello, Wallace.
Oh, wow.
I would punt.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear what's going to happen, but I better not. All right, man. Have a good day. That was fun.
Sounds like...
Is that Waylon Jennings calling us?
No, but it sounds like he might have been calling from a certain place in Huntsville.
It sounded like Quagmire from Family Guy, if anybody's familiar. Just that voice.
Oh, yeah. Giggity gigs.
Certain people want to be part of, they just want to be part of the show, and I get it,
Huh.
Oh, well.
Imagine calling a radio show and then waiting on hold just to make some noises.
Or maybe he got sick of waiting on hold, fell asleep, had a nightmare about the season A&M had, and that's what we heard.
Could be.
I doubt it. Right now, let's get caller number one. We're going to give you a free car wash from Aggieland Express Car Wash in South College Station off of William D. Fitch in Greens Prairie. Aggie owned and operated. With the friendliest staff and personal touch, they offer a monthly membership, but we'll give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggieland Express in South College Station, 979-693-1150.
Start your morning off with coffee, egg whites, tight shirts, and TexAgs Radio. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 on The Zone.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
J. Cody Steaks and Barbecue, Horseshoe Junction Family Fun Park, M&M Apparel, and Premium Rapid Lube. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Vanderwood with Veribank. Veribank is continuing to grow in the Brazos Valley with a brand new full-service banking center on Highway 6 in front of Academy. We have a team of genuine bankers specializing in personal and business banking, wealth management, and investor real estate lending ready to serve you. Veribank is here to help you succeed financially, and you can bank on it.
Visit Verabank.com today. That's VERA Bank.com. Verabank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Big Shot, come celebrate at Anthem Kitchen and Bar located at Big Shot's Golf Aggieland. Anthem Kitchen and Bar is your new favorite hangout with plenty of seating for your whole crew, tons of screens, and some truly next-level scratch-cooked menu items. Big Shot's Golf brings the fun each day of the week with dueling piano events, trivia nights, a weekday happy hour, and so much more. Every Big Shot has an anthem, so come celebrate yours at Anthem Kitchen and Bar located at Big Shot's Golf Aggieland. Visit anthem.bigshotsgolf.com to learn more.
The biggest names in sports are on ESPN Radio.
Joe Davis, New Orleans Saints linebacker.
We just keep chopping wood, keep sharpening the axe day by day. When you have a good process, that's what you focus on.
Julian Love, New York Giants defensive back.
It's been good to leave your house or whatever on Monday, and you see a lot of people on the streets just walking wearing the Giants gear.
Joined now by the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, New Orleans Saints safety.
I think we got enough fight in us, and obviously we got enough football left, so I believe in us, no doubt.
Former Eagles safety, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Weapon X, Brian Dawkins.
It wasn't that moment that makes me want to rip his head off. It's just that he was in the other jersey. That's the way it works.
Curtis Martin, former Jets running back and Pro Football Hall of Famer.
I love having Key as a teammate. He was one of those guys who you knew you could depend on, no matter what, came hell or high water.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Boston.
More than a feeling.
More than a feeling. I have more than a feeling that the caller on hold we need to discuss is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So Wallace is back on hold.
Okay.
The guy, and I don't think we should let him back on, although I'm intrigued by it. He has given a reason he said he's back. He apologized, said he just got disconnected.
Oh, okay.
But I heard something.
Yeah.
I did hear like some moaning or something. And I know Nick is the adult in the room. Nick, I think you probably say don't take him.
Yeah, I would vote no on that, but you're the host and you make the rules, so you want to take him, go for it.
I'm all about second chances. So
just the
that's
mothership, be ready with the dump button. That's all I would say.
I feel like Wallace has called the show before and given some good insight.
Okay.
But what I just heard did not sound real.
So what are you going to do?
Maybe give him 2.5 seconds.
All right, let's see where he's going to go.
Louis may call me after this. Wallace, welcome back to TexAgs.
Okay, so that's it. Let's go to Gromit.
Wallace, we gave you a chance.
Yep.
You were there. You were there.
Never again.
No. If a man by the name of Wallace ever calls this show, unless it's William Wallace, I'm out.
Yeah. I think William Wallace, don't have to worry about him.
You think we're good?
I've seen him die about 100 times.
Yep. As long as Hugh doesn't call.
Braveheart is my favorite movie of all time. So, great movie. Great reference.
Well, as long as Hugh doesn't ever call the show again.
Yeah.
Our good friend Hugh.
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 The old Jazz family.
Whoa, hey now. We go back to the News and Social Center. We need to get this show back on track. But we do have Anna Rosa Peterson's word of the day here.
Yes, I was going to say this is far from on track, but our word of the day is, well, essentially there's this trend where people are describing their life as being an era. And so you fill in the blank, I am in my blank era, depending on what phase of life you're in. So
yeah, I'm in the middle of one. I'm in my Yellowstone era.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
listening to country
Yellowstone.
music and like
back in your Aggie cowboy era.
Yeah, no.
Potentially.
Back then I was straight up listening to Ice Cube.
Yep.
Yeah, so no.
Yep.
Did you sing the lyrics?
I'm not going to answer that.
Oh.
No, I skipped many of the lyrics.
Okay.
In your fitness era, your Bad Bunny era, sports broadcasting era, all things that could apply to this trend of describing your life as an era. It could be...
It's like a chapter in the book.
With me, it's always an error.
Well...
Yeah.
No
when I describe
Irma's era is her era?
No, it's her. I'm her error.
Right.
She's much better than me.
No, that's what I'm saying. This era she's in, you were her error?
Oh, without a doubt. People are still scratching their heads on this one.
Oh, my gosh.
Including me.
For some background, I believe that this originated from Taylor Swift is going on tour, and her tour is called the Eras Tour, where she will be playing all of her different music and albums from years past. And so I'm quite confident that that is how this trend began.
I think it's been used in sports forever.
You know, I would pull the Florida Kid Scholarship for singing a Taylor Swift lyric more than I would for any a rap lyric.
Would you agree that there was the run and shoot era? There was the Kevin Sumlin era.
There was the Wishbone era.
There was the RC era.
Yeah.
Like I think in sports we've used that term many times.
Right. It's been recycled now and has entered pop culture.
Yeah.
more.
Like, the DH era is now where like everybody's
steroid
got it.
era?
The steroid era. The cheating
Which
scandal.
you're still a part of.
If you look like me and you take steroids, you're doing it wrong. That's for darn sure. So yeah, I think we've used that term many times.
Oh, many times.
Yeah, but
the dead ball era.
Yeah. What else?
Oh, I don't know.
The 40 Minutes of Hell era. That was just a team.
That was just a team.
Yeah. In basketball, there's been eras. There were the what was it? The hand check era. Now they don't have that.
Oh.
Now they got the Euro step era.
Okay.
You don't know.
I
You
never
don't
heard
watch
them
basketball.
actually use. I'm in the not watching basketball era.
I will say the TexAgs era is never going away. So
let's hope not, at least for another 6 to 10 years.
Or 26 years. Hello. Please.
This is the looking at for number one era.
Oh my gosh.
Obi, I know we have said we feel better about everything, but we're not going to erase the 5-7 season will not be erased. Right. Those two things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
But I do really believe. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go. You finish.
I was going to say I really do believe that this team is more like the LSU team moving forward than the UMass team. And I know there's more examples of the UMass team, but maybe because I just feel inspired from what I saw in that last game, I feel like we saw in the Alabama game for the most part last year, the lights clicked.
Well, I think it all started really with the move of Connor Wigman to quarterback.
Yep.
Because they had a chance against Ole Miss. He didn't play right against Florida.
Right.
You probably would have won at Auburn. I think definitely if A-Chain plays and maybe if Moose plays, you win. And then you close out and he just gives you an element that you haven't had. He didn't have to be the focal point of the offense against LSU. It was Devon A-Chain. But he added a complement to it that you haven't seen, and he hadn't thrown any interceptions, so he doesn't make mistakes. He'll run for a key first down. He does all the little things, and I think as he moves forward in his career, you're going to see him do some of the really huge things as well. But you're still 5-7, so you put some lipstick on the pig, but then you made that pig into bacon.
Who can say no to bacon?
And it was good.
It's really good bacon. We're all encouraged because it's been a few days from the game and there's still a little euphoria to it, and we're still underwhelmed with the way the season went. But especially seeing, I think more than anything, seeing some of the bigger names already sign up for year 2, right?
Yeah.
I think to me that's where it all, because if we could have all been given a dose of reality in July and being like, look, this team, this is what you're told. This team's going to miss these players.
Yeah.
And also, you're going to play more freshmen than have ever played significant time. I don't think we would have predicted 5-7, but I do believe we would have thought there's no way they're 9-3, 10-2 team.
Yeah, it's true. There probably would have been more of I would have said probably a 7-5, 6-6 type of thing if you're going to tell me. Because it doesn't matter how good your freshmen are. They're still freshmen. And like we've said before, they're still freshmen playing in the most difficult, challenging conference in college football against players that are upperclassmen that were also highly recruited, right? So it takes some time. So, yeah, if you knew that you were going to have some of the challenges that you faced coming into the year, you said, oh, okay, 6-6, 7-5.
Yep.
And so 5-7 is still a disappointment. And it's my contention that had you moved Connor Wigman to the starting lineup after the open week, that A&M probably would have finished 7-5.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually going to ask the fan show guys this later. If you could take away one game, flip the result of one game this season that would have had momentum feeling effects afterward, I think the easy answer is App State, but I don't know. That was just a true reflection of who they were. If you win the App State game, I don't know if you're going to win all these rest of these games later on. For some reason, I feel the Bama game,
of course,
If you change the way the Bama game goes, even with App State, I think you finish the season differently.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, or even Mississippi State. Because Mississippi State, if you get that Mississippi State game, even with the App game, you're going into Alabama.
2-game win streak.
You're 4-1.
Yeah.
And you're out there about to beat them.
And Milroe's still the quarterback in that scenario, so you feel really good about where you're going.
You might have had it, maybe, I don't know, maybe you would have, with just a little more confidence or whatever, I'm just grasping at straws here. Maybe you could have not necessarily beat Alabama, but maybe you would have, I don't know, just been a more confident team moving forward, and you would have won a couple of those games that were winnable that you couldn't close out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, we'll get to a bunch of your text messages because we've kind of ignored those because of our awesome call from Wallace. And then we'll do That's Bullcrap with OB. We'll figure out what he's thinking is bullcrap. That, I don't know if he'll take your calls after the whole Wallace experiment, but maybe. You never know. It's TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Glen Bryan Theater Troupe presents Fellow Passengers, an inventive adaptation of Charles Dickens' classic A Christmas Carol. Performances are being held at various locations through Saturday. Purchase your tickets at blinn.edu/box office. Texas A&M University Chorale Activities present the annual Holiday Spirit of Aggieland Chorale Concert this Sunday at 3 p.m. in Rudder Auditorium. Purchase your tickets online at boxoffice.tamu.edu. The Texas A&M Corps of Cadets invite you to Holiday on the Quad this Sunday from 5 to 9 p.m. Join the cadets for games, crafts, food, and drinks, plus plenty of photo ops for the entire family. Submit your event to news@WTAW.com. Get into the holiday spirit with Christmas 97.3 FM, playing your favorite holiday hits 24/7 through the entire holiday season. Christmas 97.3 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Hi, this is Kelly Adams with Girard Construction, custom home builders for the Brazos Valley since 2002. Our business was founded on providing a quality product with excellent customer service. We believe our best source of business is our satisfied clients. We want you to be happy. That's why we're hands-on in each project. We are on-site and available to you when you have questions. At Girard Construction, we don't just build homes, we build relationships. Let's build your dream home together. Visit us at girard-construction.com.
Brazos Running Company has moved to Century Square. Same passion for running and fitness and for finding the right shoe that fits your stride and style. Now with so much more. In addition to the sought-after running shoe brands like On and Hoka, Brazos Running Company now carries Birkenstock shoes, and they are the only place in town to carry Viore clothing, one of the hottest athletic wear brands in the country. Both make great gifts. So come shop Aggie-owned and operated Brazos Running Company, now located in Century Square below Star Cinema Grill in College Station.
A half a ring of Cooper's world-famous regular or jalapeno sausage cooked to perfection cowboy style over mesquite coals, then paired with one of your favorite homemade Cooper sides, beans and barbecue sauce. That's what you get when you ask for Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue's Saw 'em Off Sausage Special, only $9.99. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M Athletics.
Everything in life has rules, and the Zone has prize rules for all contesting. You can check them out at zone1150.com. You may know you can win once every 30 days. There can only be one winner per household per month. You have 30 days to pick up your prizes. You have to be 18 or older to win. You have to present a legal ID to claim your prize. All prizes are non-transferable and not for resale. To make sure you do know all the rules, or if you have any questions about the prize rules, make sure to visit zone1150.com.
Zone1150.com.
She keeps a Moet Chandon in a pretty cabinet. Anthony case, she says, just like Marie Antoinette. Building remedy.
Big Queen guy. You no?
Yeah, I'm
they jam.
My favorite song of theirs, and this is not a joke. If you were going to think it is, Fat Bottom Girls. I think it's a banger.
A banger.
Yeah, isn't that the word the kids use now when they really like us?
It's a banger.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
It's a great tune.
Maybe you should lead Word of the Week, OB.
Yeah, we do need to do a grandpa version of Word of the Week.
I would love that.
Okay.
We're both grandpa level.
Balderdash.
Balderdash. That's Balderdash.
Tomfoolery.
Have you ever used that?
I actually use tomfoolery in my vocabulary often. I really enjoy that word. Yep.
We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. OB, time for That's Bullcrap, presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing. Great friend of Stephen McGee, who we're going to have here with Ryan Swope in about 13, 14 minutes. Check out the website, tomlineplumbing.com. What is bullcrap, my friend?
You know, I'm not a big fan of Jerry Jones, so I don't want to seem like I'm running interference from, but I don't get the outrage that some have over a picture of him, you know, during the civil rights. Well, there was in 1957, there was a picture of some white students trying to block some black students from getting into a school, and Jerry Jones is in the background as an onlooker. You know, he's not one of the guys in the front. He was 14 years old. And are we really to the point where we're going to try to, quote, cancel people for something at 14? The Rock, yesterday there was a story that he went back to a 7-Eleven when he was in Hawaii and bought all the Snickers because he said when he was 14, he used to steal a Snicker bar from this certain 7-Eleven every day as his pre-workout.
Right.
So are we going to...
Are people trying to cancel him now too?
No, but okay. Would you want to prosecute him now for something you did when you were 14? Anybody? Would you really hold what someone did at 14 years old against anyone, especially when it's 60-something years later?
Do you think The Rock is the most beloved American right now?
Most beloved American? Probably not, but he's
most
very
people like
beloved,
him, right?
Yeah.
Who's more beloved than The Rock right now?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't sat down and really thought about it.
I mean, honestly, I was thinking he would be up there.
He's got to be in the top three, right? Got to be.
I'm trying to think of who could top
But he
him.
made some political comments in the last election that maybe turned off a lot of people.
Yeah.
So anytime you take a stand, you're going to turn off maybe half the country.
So
I like him.
I like him. My bullcrap of the week, Kyler Murray. Just too much drama with this guy.
There's always drama.
Always. There was drama here, and there's drama there. And I'm not saying it's always his fault, but he's involved in drama. This offseason, the drama was he played more video games and studied for games, yada, yada, yada. And now the most recent one is he criticized his coach in the media, talking about the scheme was whack or whatever he called it. And he doesn't like that. Well, he does that, but then doesn't like that Patrick Peterson criticized him on a podcast. He's like, you got to be bigger than that. You got to talk to me personally. Wouldn't that same kind of thing work for how you would criticize your head coach?
You would think.
So that's my bullcrap.
I see that. That's a good one. And quite frankly, from everything I've seen, what Patrick Peterson said, that he's really in it for himself.
That's what people say.
Seems to be accurate.
Yeah, I'm not sad that the Cardinals are struggling. I like Cliff. I do. I don't know if he's a good NFL coach or not. I mean, right now you would say no, but I do like him, and I just haven't been a big fan of Kyler. But it is what it is. Let's go back to the News and Social Center. Anna Rosa, I know there's a bunch of text messages, one from a caller that apologized.
Yes, we got to get to Wallace. He said, sorry about that, was having phone troubles, but my
Hold
question...
on. Was the phone troubles involved with the moaning that I heard on the show?
You're just not going to get over that, are you?
There was moaning.
There was
it was weird.
There was a moment of moan.
And they called me Larry David. A moment of moan.
Maybe he fell asleep.
But he moaned. Or
Yeah.
If he didn't, there was somebody.
Maybe he has a
George
cat
Costanza.
or a dog. Maybe he has some
That
kind
wasn't
of
a cat
pet.
or a dog.
You don't think?
All right, but
he has Gromit. That's a dog, right?
But he did have a good question, right?
A great question.
Great.
You can be the judge of that,
All right.
actually. He said, my question is, do you believe in the players changing schools to different colleges because the school is not winning?
I think that plays a part, sure. I mean, everybody has their own, I think, reason.
Right. I think a kid should be able to change his mind, whatever the situation.
Yeah. It's weird because I agree with the ability to transfer. I just don't like what it stands
I mean,
for.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like that a guy that Vanderbilt can recruit Tyler Steen when no one wanted him or no one else. He wasn't getting big offers. and put time, money, and effort into developing him, and then the Vanderbilt coaches developing to a point where Alabama say, yeah, we want you. And then he goes, and he wasn't great at Alabama, but he goes and becomes a starter at Alabama when it was Vanderbilt that took him as a 3-star recruit that was lightly recruited and turned him into a player that could start at Alabama.
But there is something to be said about guys who are late bloomers and late developers too. And if he stays at just for this conversation's sake, stays at Vanderbilt, maybe doesn't get noticed and doesn't have the future.
Well, they've had guys get drafted in the first round.
But there's more cachet with Bama for sure.
Well, there's that, but I don't know. I'm just kind of more of a loyal guy. I absolutely detest the idea that kids will go to IMG. Because, they lock in on you. Why do they lock in on you? A big part of it is because of what your local high school coach did for you to develop you and make you better. So, I would like to think that I'm the kind of guy, had I been a great player, that if I signed with A&M and they went 5-7, they'd say, you know what? They showed belief in me. And as far as I know, they've been square with me.
Yep.
So I'm going to be square with them because that's what I'd like to think. That's what I would do. Now I don't expect everybody to be like me, but I would like to see more loyalty. I
would like to see more loyalty too. And I don't want you just to leave for an NIL deal or just because you don't start as a freshman. But I think there are scenarios where it's not the right environment for the kid, and he figures that out. Like, hey, this coach yells at me. He's not good for my vibe, or I don't like my teammates. They don't bring the best. There are reasons. I just don't like what some of the reasons.
To me, the main reason is I'm not playing here. If you can't handle a coach yelling at you, it's not going to get better somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, if the coach is abusive to you, that's a different thing, and I think that's what you meant.
Yeah, absolutely. OB, that was fun. Do you want to? Well, are you busy? You want to stick around for Swope and McGee, or you want to leave?
I'll go. You don't want to have four voices.
Okay. All right, because I know that you and Steven love to chit-chat. And we'll have Ryan Swope here. Yeah, and I know you like to talk to Ryan, too, but you get the weekly hit with McGee. We're going to have both those guys together here in the next few minutes. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Looking for the Zone prize rules? Would you like to apply for a job at the Zone? Or need a phone number or email for the Zone? Visit zone1150.com. Would you like to sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter? Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Or would you like to see the Zone's daily schedule? Visit zone1150.com. For more information, any questions, to contact us for everything and anything about the Zone, visit zone1150.com.
Vehicle accidents are stressful enough. You don't need someone showing up at the scene trying to pressure you into letting them tow away your vehicle. Call your roadside assistance provider or insurance company for towing company suggestions, or consult with police on the scene. And always have the price and terms in writing before you let them hook it up. If you suspect fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB or visit www.nicb.org. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Your home for Aggie baseball. From the first game to the last game, home or road, is Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus online at radioaggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
Are you ready?
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Bryan police receive a report of a man who was found dead in a home by someone who knew the victim. A BPD spokesman tells WTAW News that there is evidence of a homicide. An autopsy will be done, and the victim's identity is expected to be released today. Officers responded yesterday morning to a home on Cavett, a block north of Carson. College Station's new mayor says it will take some time to negotiate an agreement with Texas A&M to acquire space at the former Macy's store at Post Oak Mall.
Citizens will see some real outcome from that, certainly from the Macy's project in the next, I'd say, 6 months to a year in terms of initiatives, the letter of intent between the university and the city on the Macy's building.
John Nichols says the city is also negotiating to sell land, hinting that could involve a portion of 200 acres the city owns next to the recently opened Costco store. Brazos County's new congressman is also the incoming chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Speaking on WTAW, Michael McCall of Austin brought up illegal immigrants crossing a wide-open Mexican border during the Biden administration.
And now the fentanyls are pouring in from China. We've lost 75,000 children this year due to fentanyls. Put that in perspective, that's as many as we lost in Vietnam over 2 decades.
McCall plans to visit leaders in Mexico and Central America to renegotiate the so-called Remain in Mexico agreements that were made during the Trump administration, though McCall does not expect the Biden administration will take action. He says because the U.S. does not have enough detention space, illegals are released with a notice to appear and then they disappear. There are additional early voting hours in the Bryan City Council runoff election the next 2 days from 7 until 7. Brazos County Elections Administrator Trudy Hancock reports 213 early voters through the first 3 days. More information is at brazosvotes.org. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
Replacement windows, like other major purchase items, will at some time in the future need service, whether warranty or not. If you purchase your replacement windows from Intercon, you'll just phone our local number and we will take care of your issue in a prompt and professional way. Every one of Intercon's personnel who answer the phone will know how to involve the right people to find a solution. With Intercon, you won't spend hours manipulating through an automated phone tree. If you consider purchasing your replacement windows from another window source, a good exercise would be to call the service department of the other company. You might come away thinking it'd be better to put your trust in a local company with a solid and well-established reputation. Ask your friends and colleagues about the customer experience they had with Intercon. We are proud of our track record and our commitment to long-term customer service. Trust Intercon, a family-owned local business, with all of your window needs.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hilcosupply.com. Texas A&M men's basketball continued its winning ways last night, pulling away from SMU 83-64. The Aggies got it done in the paint, scoring 48 points inside. Big man Henry Coleman III.
I mean, we prepare every game, to score from the outside, score from the inside. So I guess it was just our night inside.
Coleman finished the night with 23 points, and Wade Taylor IV added 13 as the Ags improved to 5-2 on the year. Now over on the women's side of the court, nothing doing for the Maroon and White as it fell to Kansas 74-42. Coach Joni Taylor on her message to the team after the loss.
We can't feel sorry for ourselves. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us, and we've got to continue to accept that challenge. Where can we be better? We're going to obviously go back and watch the film and digest it and talk about it and teach and coach. And what I can say is that they've continued to have really good attitudes and outlook on everything. They're excited about what it is we're doing.
Sydney Bowles finished with a team-high 14 points for the Aggies, who fall to 4-3 on the year. And A&M offensive lineman Layden Robinson has been named to the SEC Community Service Team. The junior from Manville has volunteered at Twin City Missions along with Texas A&M Athletics Sports Day events, where he worked with the local Boys and Girls Club to teach children about football and other sports. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Look inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Don't miss a single rant, guest, or moment. You can download or subscribe to any and all of your favorite shows inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. There's also a special selection where you can find select interviews from David, Louie, and Chip. Look up Zone interviews inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Download or subscribe, but don't miss out. Check out the Pod Center at zone1150.com.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We have a fun hour planned for you. Ryan Swope's here with us, getting it done with Ryan Swope and Stephen McGee. So help me understand. Back in the day, you guys sometimes would do before COVID, right? Would do a hit together, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good time.
And we had Jamie McCoy.
Yeah. Oh, Jamie came too?
A.K.A. Ocho.
Yeah.
He obviously has phone in from Waco. But Swopey and I actually didn't cross over at A&M. I missed him by, that one semester. But our wives are good friends.
True story. I got a story.
Okay.
I took a recruiting trip here. Mike Sherman was the coach. Remember this?
I remember it, yeah.
Met Stephen McGee on my visit to Texas A&M. Shook his hand. He sold me hard. Committed the next day.
Is that right?
Oh, gosh.
Is that true? Wow.
Yeah. What I vividly remember, though, is Swope loves to hunt. And so we were talking about bow hunting. I think you were even mentioning that you were trying to hunt this buck in your yard, in West Austin, right?
Yeah, it was outside the city limits kind of deal.
It's a legal deal, but it was.
Yeah, it was 100% legal. But yeah, I ended up getting that deer.
So speaking of hot topics this morning, the deer are running. Dave, you're not a hunter, are you?
No.
Oh man,
they're chasing.
But I watch Yellowstone now, so I'm
so you're official cowboy.
So now I'm starting to feel part of the circle of trust.
Oh man,
you should. Well, deer are chasing does right now, right? It's called the rut.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a hot doe in my park last night. I was walking my dogs about 10 o'clock at night. So, and I hadn't harvested a deer in a couple of years. Just kids, a lot going on. So I'm like, let's go, baby. run my dog to the house, grab my rattling horns, throw my grunt call on, and I am off. This is a big deer.
Yeah.
And get to the park right there across my house. Obviously, I don't have a gun. I just want to get a good look. This is a 150-inch, 160-inch buck. So, I start tickling the horns, start hitting the grunt call. I'm booby crawling through the yopon. And this deer, it comes closer and closer. I can't get a great look at it. My flashlight's not operating correctly. So I'm like, man, I'm going to hit the horns again. So I start tickling the horns. And here he comes. He gets 30 yards from me. And I'm like, golly, this is awesome. Let's see if we can get a little closer. Next thing you know, his tail pops up and he darts off, sprinting. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? Well, I'm like on all fours. And next I look over my shoulder and my neighbor comes walking through the park. I'm on all four in the yopon.
Hey, Ryan, is that you down there?
Did you guys talk?
No, I kind of just went back to my house. I was pretty embarrassed.
Put your head down.
Pretty sure the game warden probably did 3 or 4 circles through our neighborhood.
Can you imagine, Dave, not being a hunter and your neighbor is booby crawling through the random part of
my God,
tall grass, yopon at 10 o'clock at night?
Dude, I would go back to the house, honey.
Yeah,
what is he
doing? In the park on all fours with rattling horns and a grunt call.
Maybe hire a guard out front of his house.
Right? I would probably call the cops. There's something going on here. All right, you mentioned something to me as you walked in. Tell the crowd, the listeners, what your record is recently of watching A&M games.
Well, I went to the Alabama game last year. I hadn't been to many football games, unfortunately, because I've three boys, young, a lot going on. Mama needs help. But I went to the Alabama game last year, went to a quarter of the Sam Houston game.
Before the weather got bad?
Yes, and then I went to Miami game, and I went to LSU game.
So they're 4-0 in the last 2 years.
Yeah, baby, love to see it.
As far as Swope knows, team's 4-0.
Right?
Let's go, baby.
Well, and when you go, apparently they block pretty well too, because the Bama game is where the light clicked.
Yeah,
and I'll certainly say the Miami game, it was better than we had seen in some of the other games, and for sure the LSU game, that was the best the line has looked.
Oh man, it was
no
impressive.
doubt did.
It was a different football team we watched. I think they were real decisive. They looked confident. They looked like they were having fun. They found a groove. And I think that we did some different things offensively that worked. And I loved the tempo that we played with.
Yeah.
And we were aggressive and felt like just guys stepped up and really made some plays. And I thought Jimbo did a good job of calling the game too.
Why do you think it was different? Well, why wait till that game, or is it comfort with your quarterback and some of your younger players?
You know, they're able to get in a rhythm early, which I think matters, especially with a bunch of young guys on the offense. And then just kind of building that confidence up early. I think Jimbo's successes, like all the games Ryan's talking about, I think they get off to a good drive. Remember Alabama last year, they got off to a really good start. And then there develops this belief. I think momentum is a funny thing in college sports. And so I think that's a huge deal for a young football team. And then I think just making the easy plays matters.
Yeah.
And then feeding the rock to A-Chain. We talked about that going into the game, I think, on the show was for this team to have success, you're going to have to run the football well against the LSU team. And they did that. They stayed committed to it. They didn't abandon the run. They didn't let the RPO game deter him from getting his carries. You know, he ended up getting his touches. And it wasn't perfect up front, but A-Chain is a good enough player to where he makes people miss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many free safeties and strong safeties were in the box?
It's incredible.
At the line of scrimmage and air tackled. You know, it's just –
his yak is so impressive, man.
It is.
And he's just so good in space. He's fun to watch. I think y'all were talking about kind of yesterday where he's going to fall in the draft if he goes. And I think
some
what's
people
what's the lady that y'all had on?
Shereen Williams.
She was going to talk to the scouts, but they were saying like
maybe 4th or 5th round because Isaiah did that. Yeah.
Oh, man, that guy's got to be – I'd get him in the 2nd or 3rd if I could, just because I think you can utilize him in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And how about this, though? So in the world of NIL, what is the signing bonus? And I know it's hard to project. Every player thinks they're going to get drafted higher than what they end up getting.
Yep.
But if you're a 5th-round pick, what are you making? $200,000 signing bonus? And you're not guaranteed a roster spot anymore, especially a running back. So there's a good chance you're on practice roster making $150,000. What does it then take for you to come back for another year? He gets to run track, have a lot of success there.
Maybe go to the Olympics.
And potentially make more money and graduate from Texas A&M and be a part of a really, well, hopefully better football team next year. Who knows what we're going to be, but
we need him. I mean, he's
there's something to be said there for that.
I agree. I think if he was sitting there trying to make a decision, I think that there's a lot of upside on coming back.
Well, I think that's why it's important for players like you to say this out loud, because if he's listening, because I think they have agents in their ears like, dude, you're going the 1st round. I've talked to so-and-so. You're going to make $6 million, whatever. Like,
well, look at that track record.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, all you got to do is just look at all your friends that you've played with over the last 3 years that thought the same thing too, that didn't get drafted and that didn't even make a practice roster spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunately the stats are against that. And now get it, A-Chain's a different player. And he's got elite speed, and so there's someone's going to be attracted to him for that. And he's got the tape, he's had the production, but is he going to be up there with the Alabama back? Like, no, he's not. He's not going to be the 1st round pick type player.
And there aren't a lot of those anymore at running back.
There's not. It's hard for a team to take that risk and what someone told me the other day is like A-Chain's a great player, but if you lose a guy like that or you lose one of these freshman running backs to the transfer portal, it's a running back. We'll replace him. The positions you can't replace are the obvious ones. A game changer at wide receiver and
quarterback,
absolutely. And I think that same conversation you guys just brought up about A-Chain could be some wisdom for Ainias Smith, who I think is ready, but I don't know if he's going to be able to put up the kind of times that he wants to at the combine considering his injury. So he's another guy that I think has something to think about.
He's not a blazer anyway, right?
Yeah.
He's more of a shifty guy.
He's got plenty of film.
Yeah.
You know, he's probably, a 5th round guy as well, 4th round.
Make some money at A&M, maybe NIL.
Man, I'd love to have him back just because I think he's a hell of a player. I think he's a team, a great team player, a leader on this football team. And I hate that he had to end that way on an injury. So I'd love to see Ainias Smith back on the field next year.
Yeah.
And he's a game changer. And I think we felt that when he left. It kind of deflated us, our football team, because he was a true leader, and I'd love to see him back.
I think that what a coach says about you can help you. I'm not going to say this is a perfect rule of thumb, but let's say it adds an additional round or increases your value by a round, or can hurt you by a round. So let's say they have you slated in the 4th round. If a team falls in love with you and Jimbo Fisher's on the table talking about how much they love you, it could push that team to draft you in the 3rd round. They're like, man, this guy, he's got it. He's a team guy. He's a winner. And that's Ainias Smith. I think he's going to get pushed earlier just because of his DNA in the things that Ryan says. Whereas there's been some guys in the past where you're like, you definitely know, like the tight end last year, like you know that you're going to probably lose some spots. And became obvious.
Yeah.
So he's got that going for him. I'm like, Ryan, the downside for him, if he does come back, if you have a second injury, now your NFL prospects
That's
are
a great
plummeting.
point. Yeah, that's a wonderful point. I don't want to overrate what they did on Saturday, but I'm going to a little bit because going into the offseason with that kind of performance, not just a victory, that kind of performance, I don't want to say makes the 5-7 more stomachable, but it does give me more hope than I had after the UMass game, after the Arkansas game, because those weren't pretty wins. This was a pretty win, and it felt like the light turned on.
It did, and a lot of young guys were contributors in that should be back. But it's also the frustrating part of knowing what should have happened for 12 football games that didn't happen. And so it's the expectation here is higher than 5-7. That's the bottom line business. You had one really good game. We're not in the business of having one really good football game. We've invested about $1 billion into our football program over the last decade since Ryan and Johnny kind of set the tempo for us. And the bar is just higher than 5-7. And so it's frustrating. And the downside of it is that we have friends that are in the coaching business, and a great guy like Coach Dickey, they get let go. And I'm sure there's going to be more changes that have to be made in subsequent weeks, once an offensive coordinator is hired, and then they say, hey, who do you want on this staff? And I'm sure that more people are going to lose their job.
What do you guys think about that? Not that it was Dickey's fault that the offense struggled. We know that Jimbo's, it's his offense. That all being said, to me, it signifies that they are open to change.
Yeah, I love Coach Dickey. I don't know as much as probably McGee knows as far as how much control he had over the offense, but from my understanding, is very little. It's unfortunate to see him go. He's, great guy, good family guy. And, but I think that if we want to be a championship football team, sometimes you got to make those changes and adjustments. And, obviously offensively, we've really struggled the last really 2-3 years. So we're just trying to make improvements, and I just hope they find the right guy that fits what we're looking for and molds well with the current coaching staff here and is ready to, take lead and take over. I just hope that we're firm to that.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah,
I do.
And Lucci said earlier today, I think that Jimbo said that he's going to allow the new offense coordinator to call plays, which is a huge deal. We have to modernize this offense. We are playing football a decade ago. It's slow. We're in a world in college football of up tempo where more is not better. I think sometimes less is more. Simplify things so that a guy like Evan Stewart, who's a true freshman, can be a day one starter instead of him out there trying to think.
I agree, dude.
And so there's something to be said for that. And there's guys that can inject that life into our offense. There's no doubt about the talent. And Jimbo's got to be honest with himself in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? I'm not getting the job done as the coordinator. And it was on him. It's not on Dickey. Yeah. Dickey's just the guy that has to take the fall for it. And ultimately, there's other guys on the staff offensively that need to go. Like, think about what's happened at the other position groups. You can go through a list here of, like, at running back, why have we not done a better job of rotating in backs? Think about Alabama. They are consistently rotating in two backs. And then when the starter gets hurt, they have a third one that's ready to go.
Ready. Yep.
We don't do that. It's a one-man show. Where's the other guys? Why aren't they getting carries?
Texas does a good job of it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do.
And then, then you start going through the list of offensive line. What happened? Like, how is it this bad? Like, there's not a lack of ability, but there's a lack of performance from that group. And then now move on to the wide receiver group last year, not this year. And you're thinking, man, this is the most underperforming group we had on the team.
Yeah.
And then now look at the quarterback position group this year. You can go through the whole list offensively. And so ultimately, it falls on Jimbo because he was the one calling the plays and he hired all these guys. And so the bar is higher. Yeah. And so I think that when you bring in a new offensive coordinator to make that job more attractive to him, you say, hey, you get to call plays and you get to pick your staff.
Follow me here on this. I almost feel like this season had to happen for these changes to happen because I really do think Jimbo's offense could have looked better, a lot better with a good offensive line. But it doesn't erase the fact that this is still a prehistoric offense from 10 years ago, like you said. And I feel like you had to hit this kind of rock bottom in order to have change. Agree?
Yes. I think we needed it. I think our defense has bailed us out. You look, just over the last 5 years, of Jimbo's play calling. Look at the games that we won this year, our defense has bailed us out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, our offense is going and putting, 45 points on the board every game, and we're throwing for 350 yards and rushing for 100. We rarely do that. And whereas you look at, teams across the country, USC, these Texas, high-powered offenses that get in these grooves and they score points. Oklahoma a couple of years ago. I mean, it's fun to watch, but they've got dominant offenses. They're coached well, and they call plays well. And so I think I know we have the talent here. It's just a matter of finding that right system that sticks and fits what we're trying to do here. Because I think that the last 5 years, if you look at it offensively, what are we, C- at best?
One thing that they talk a lot about is the plays are pretty similar between all the systems, which is, I think, largely true. In the NFL, I think you look across the board, 70% of the plays in the playbook are going to be the same. And they're going to teach the same thing. Hey, you got 4 seams versus cover 2 or 2 high safeties. Inside guy is going to break that route off and be a seam bender. The outside guy is going vertical. Versus single high, he's going to stay skinny.
Yeah.
They're all going to teach it the same way, right?
Right.
But to me, the difference is Jason Garrett in Dallas had the same playbook as Gary Kubiak in Houston, and I was in both of those. And the difference being that Gary Kubiak was a great game caller. He knew when to call those plays, and he would find ways in which to get guys open and generate yards. He didn't put as much on his quarterback, a la Tony Romo, to have to force 80% of the plays.
Right.
Like, it was really incumbent on Romo to create and make those big plays, where Matt Schaub, a very lesser caliber quarterback in Houston, was able to start for 8+ years because of a guy like Gary Kubiak that was able to get easy completions and easy explosives in the pass game. And now you see that with the Rams and McVay. He's a great play caller. Like, he's not asking Stafford to be great on 80% of the plays like he was in Detroit, just 20%. And they won a Super Bowl. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you guys, can you stick around for one more?
Yeah.
We'll make it a short segment. We got some questions for you on the text line. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Brazos Valley Chorale will perform familiar Christmas Carol excerpts from their upcoming concert on the steps of St. Andrews this Friday at 7 p.m. Then at 7:30 and 8, the Glen Bryan Theater Troupe will perform Fellow Passengers, a narrative adaptation of Charles Dickens' novel A Christmas Carol. An after-action review by Nicholas Moran, military vehicle expert and historian for Wargaming America, is this Saturday at 2:30 p.m. at the Museum of the American GI. Visit AmericanGIMuseum.org for more information. You're invited to a free community Christmas concert at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in College Station, Saturday at 6 p.m. Listen to your favorite holiday hits on our sister station, Christmas 97.3 FM. Guaranteed to get you humming along. Your favorite holiday hits 24/7 on Christmas 97.3 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Hi, this is Kelly Adams with Girard Construction, custom home builders for the Brazos Valley since 2002. We love to help our clients take their vision and build it into reality. Our local team is hands-on and will work with you step by step, from planning and budgeting to choosing finishes and handing you the keys. All of our subcontractors are local, and most have been with us for 10 years or more. At Girard Construction, we don't just build homes, we build relationships. Let's build your dream home together. Visit us at girard-construction.com.
Hey, we're here with Jason Rollo. What makes Rollo Insurance so unique?
Well, we're a business ourselves, and we grew from a notepad. And when you come from the perspective of doing it yourself, I think you understand what business owners face, because we face the same things. Technology needs, dealing with those who are clients, as well as dealing with employees, agents. We understand because we're in the same boat, and that gives us a unique perspective in dealing with people and trying to help them.
Visit them at their headquarters in College Station or online at rolloinsurance.com.
As a real estate agent in the Brazos Valley, we have a few questions for you. Do you desire to grow your business? Are you passionate about exceeding client expectations? Would you rather work with a local company backed by Compass, the largest, most innovative independent brokerage in America? What are you waiting for? Lone Star Realty, a strong local brand with instant recognition, awaits your move. Contact William Sears at LoneStarBCS.com. Your successful future in real estate is just a click away. Lone Star Realty. Experience, integrity, results. An equal opportunity employer.
Hey, it's Keyshawn Johnson from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. They told us we can give away anything we choose.
So, we're giving away cash.
You want to talk about money?
We're giving away $10,000 a day. And all you have to do is listen to us for a chance to win.
You can win $2,500 an hour every hour, weekday mornings 5 to 8 here on The Zone with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So we got some text messages for you guys. People are really enjoying this segment, so we should try to do this a little bit more often. On the A&B text line, Force and Wellican says, ask them about Gabe and the snipe hunt.
Yes.
Dude. Have you been Mongolian snipe hunting?
I have. I've only hunted like mosquitoes in the backyard. That's about it.
Oh my gosh.
David, I know. Us three, we'll go.
Dude, you've got it. We got to take him down.
We've got to get you. It's
wild. These things
intense.
It's kind of scary too.
Okay.
But it's gets your
like
heart rate. It gets your heart rate going. Adrenaline starts pumping.
I'm already thinking I shouldn't do this. I'm already back.
You got to bring a couple pistols with you. Yeah, it's wild. These things
you definitely need to be. Yeah, you got to have your pistol loaded and make sure that your family's well taken care of.
Oh gosh,
so if you don't make it home,
you're talking me out of it already.
No, these Mongolian snipe, they're hard to hunt, but you really have to, you got to play the wind. You got to know the conditions. There's a lot that goes.
There's a
they're
science
smart.
to it.
They're smart
and they're dangerous too,
and they're aggressive.
Yeah,
and so
you got to be careful.
It's like a wild boar. You get them cornered up.
Yeah,
and you're hunting with dogs or something, and you're in their quarters. It's fair game.
Yeah,
snipe is the same deal, but they're just sneakier and wiser.
Yeah,
and Gabe went.
No, we told Gabe we're still trying to book it, book the hunt, but let's just take them both. Might as well.
Who would be better?
See who does it. See who handles it better.
Let's see who gets. Who do you think will get one first?
God,
Who would eject first? Because I am a wimp. I'm like, there's certain things I'm real tough. That's not one of them.
Oh man!
Once you learn even more about how you actually hunt them and some of the stuff, like stuff that you have to take to attract them, it's bizarre.
So I'm gonna make myself look like a real weak person here, but I'll be very honest with you. About a year ago, my friend Philip Vargas, who lives in town, took me shooting for the first time in my life. I think I went as a kid with my brother who was in the military, but I didn't remember. I went, and the amount of the moment I touched the gun, I got scared. It was like it's real now. I'm hearing the shots right next to me. I'm like, it took me the full hour to feel comfortable, and so yeah, it was about a year ago.
We'll get him a snipe, and then we'll shoulder mount it, and maybe we can put it somewhere back here.
Can you imagine TexAgs Mongolian snipe? It's like Gabe's and Dave's,
and Rich or get everybody. That way, I'm not the only clown out there, right? Let's get a bunch of clowns doing it.
If he harvests one,
oh man.
He'll feel like a real gangster. He shows up for a Monday at TexAgs Radio.
I'll show up with Red Wings, my hat.
Oh, man.
No doubt about that. Hey, a couple text messages for you guys. Here's one from JB and Canyon on the A&B text line. Do you think that Jimbo is outdated in his system, the fact that younger players are required to play earlier, and the fact that they have less practice time now compared to previous years? Actually, I think they have more practice time, right? I mean, if you consider people today now come in January for the most part.
And then during the summer, they can get together more than they used to. And then the technology really helps you because they're able to take a lot of the coaching stuff home with them on iPads. They don't have to be at the facility to necessarily be watching game tape. There's a lot that they can do to extend that 20 hours a week or whatever it is.
Right.
But yeah, I think that ultimately there's got to be, we talk a lot about the up-tempo-ness of the offense, spreading people out. That's college football today.
Simplify.
Yeah.
You said it earlier. I mean, that's the biggest thing that we can do that would, I think, help tremendously. These guys are overthinking.
Yeah.
I mean, you see Jimbo, the quarterback runs off the field every time, and he's in his ear. I mean, he's just getting an earful every single time.
But what about the delay from Jimbo to Connor? And it doesn't matter what quarterback it is. It's like, all right, 14 seconds on the clock. And he's
that's
like,
Jimbo. I think once Jimbo gets off the script, it's kind of shaky. We don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree with that? And
we are fighting the clock a lot. I mean, it's very consistent
all the time, dude. I mean, it's like, goodness gracious, are we going to get a play in? Mm-hmm. And so I just would love to see simplify, a 40, 50 max play offense, and then let these kids go.
Right.
Let them loose. Let the quarterback go. And I just think we would be amazed. These guys, once they get, and we saw it against LSU because we did more of it. Once you find that rhythm and you get that tempo going, everybody feeds off that.
Yep.
I'm talking about our defense, our special teams, the sidelines, Kyle Field. It's amazing what a little bit of rhythm and confidence can do to the entire stadium.
You're exactly right, and we saw this past week. So one final question. I want you guys to kind of dissect from your point of views the beautiful touchdown pass from Connor to Moose. I mean, because everything about that play was beautiful. The placement, and then, of course, the one-handed catch.
Yeah, he could have caught it with two, but I love the one. Simply could have put his other hand out there, but it was a Connor. We've got a lot to be excited with.
If we can keep him.
If we can keep him.
If we can pay him enough to get him to stay, that's the $1 million
must
question.
Be nice. These kids, must be nice, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From a quarterback's perspective, obviously that kid can spin it.
Yep.
The ball's out of his hands.
Yeah,
he makes all the throws. You've heard me talk a lot about him, and I love Connor. Now, on that specific play, if I'm his coach, I think he stared him down a little long. Safety should have probably made the interception.
Okay.
There's a lot of things there.
Moose made a good catch.
A great catch. The ball location was perfect. The throw was perfect, so you're able to overcome being a little bit late and staring a guy down. But that's what happens when you get great guys out there just making plays and letting their talent out.
Yeah, it was a great play to watch.
Oh, it was awesome.
And as we get into the offseason, just how much more hope do you have that, all right, that's more who they're going to be?
I was proud of that team. I was at the game this past Saturday, and I was proud of what they could have easily just folded.
Yeah.
The way this season went. It was a rough year, and I know just that environment, that the vibes in the locker room, it's not fun. When all the outsiders looking in, it's just not fun. And you don't know how to handle it sometimes. And I thought they could have easily folded and given up, but I'm just proud of our team coming out and playing with heart, passion, and getting a big time win.
Yep.
So, and I think, are we not going bowling? That sucks, but at least we have something to carry over to next year.
Yep, no doubt about that. I'm going to read these two text messages, get a quick response from you guys. Derm Doc says he thinks if A-Chain is after the 4th round, if that's what the grade he gets, he should stay. And then he asked, and this was probably more for you, Stephen, any chance we can get Kubiak as an offensive analyst? The thing about Kubiak is he's been in the game for so darn long.
I'd love that.
That'd be awesome.
But he evolved.
Thinking of that.
He evolved, right?
He did.
I was thinking of that.
And those guys are. He's got a lot of.
I would love that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of credentials on the wall. When he speaks,
played for him.
Yeah, he's that guy knows how to coach a football team. He knows how to. He holds everyone accountable.
There's value there.
There's a lot of value. He's done it. He's played the position. He understands. He's a little bit old school, but
I love it.
That would be incredible. Getting those type of guys in. Now, ultimately, does he want to be an analyst? What's the benefit for him?
Right.
He doesn't really probably wants. He probably wants to be retired, but
I would like him around more though.
I would too.
I saw him at practice this year. He did come for one of the early summer workouts. Just a great guy. I worked with him for years because of my ties with ABC and the Texans. He's just first class human.
He is. He's
his son. We need to go get.
Yeah, his son's had a lot lot of success.
He's.
It's gonna be
I played for him. He was our inside receiver. He was a graduate assistant, but
is it Clay Kubiak?
Clint
Kubiak.
Yeah. Which Clint was he was awesome.
Yeah.
To play for, and obviously he's done big things since leaving A&M. When he's OC.
He was
Vikings.
He was.
Yeah. They changed regimes. Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. This was fun. I hope we can do it again.
Enjoyed it. Hey, I can't wait to take you on a Mongolian snipe hunt.
People are texting in like that's a real hunt, bro.
Hey, we're gonna get after it.
All right,
it's intense.
Well, let me tell you, Kevin Costner's changed it all. It's all possible now. After Yellowstone, right?
Just make sure you hug your kids good before you leave home.
Oh man, you talked me out of it again. All right. We'll come back with Aaron Torres. This TexAgs.
TexAgs Radio on the Zone.
When you're in a bad accident, you have 1,000 things you're worried about. Medical bills, your family, your job, your health. I'm attorney Hunter Shurtleff, and my goal is to ease my clients' worries. Let me deal with the army of insurance adjusters, the other lawyers, and the bill collectors. I'm selective in what cases my firm takes, so I can provide the best legal services, and you get to talk to me, not an assistant or a receptionist. Find out more about Shurtleff Law at bcsattorney.com.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
When we started Intercon in early 1991, we were well aware that we would be competing with some companies that use unscrupulous techniques to make a quick sale, such as bait and switch, or 40% off if you commit today, or misleading, incomplete quotes. Intercon's practice is to be completely honest and encourage prospective customers to talk to our former customers. We've encouraged customers to get multiple quotes. We are confident and proud of our value proposition for windows, glass, and solar screens. We never want anyone to rush into a decision they will regret in the future. Just remember, warranties are only as good as the people who provide them and are servicing the area when situations arise. This is our home and only marketplace, and we will protect our home turf. You've probably heard the saying, the buck stopped here, and that is with me, Brad Beard, president and co-owner of Intercon, LLC.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Grab your first cup of coffee weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor right here on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus, online at radioaggieland.com. WC Tractor, your local award-winning Kubota in New Holland. Do you have questions? Look them up online at WCTractor.com. That's WCTractor.com. You can also call them at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Make the Bellucci Hour a part of your Aggie football game week. Every Thursday, 1 till 2, Billy Lucci of TexAgs joins me. Hi, I'm Louis Bellina, and it's the Bellucci Hour brought to you by Dos Equis. Enjoy the college football season with your friends and a cold, refreshing Dos Equis lager. Get a dose. It's the Bellucci Hour. It's a maroon and white world, and Billy's here to help us get through it. The Bellucci Hour, every Thursday at 1, a part of the Louis Bellina Show.
I can't wait to go snipe hunting. I may be scared of it. So, is it as dangerous as they say, Nick?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You should probably wear like a plate carrier, you know, with the armor in it. Like that would probably benefit you a great deal.
For the record, Nick, help me out here. People are texting me, "Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it." The guy who sent the text message kind of alluded it was an April Fool's joke. It's not necessarily on April Fool's, but it's so.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was looking at the text line too, just to see if anyone was playing along, and a lot of them were. A lot of people playing along with it, you know, telling their stories about their snipe hunts. And
I will be very honest with you. I didn't know, right? Like I'm not part of the community. I don't go to the meetings anymore. But when I read Forrest's text, I'm like, there's a joke here. And then I brought it up to the guys, and they said something. Oh, we got him good. We got him good with the snipe hunt. So they said that, and I was like, oh. But I wasn't sure. I was like, there must be a joke here. Where's the joke coming? So appreciate everybody who had my back and those who did not. We'll go to Aaron Torres from Fox Sports Radio and Aaron Torres Online. You ever go snipe hunting, Aaron?
Did I ever go what?
Snipe hunting. We should go together.
Snow punning?
Yeah, that too. Snow punting is a lot of fun. I usually do that in January, but I'm talking about snipe hunting.
Snipe hunting. Yeah, I've definitely done neither. Actually, your buddy Ryan Fowler always tells me that I got to go deer hunting with him. So maybe the three of us, we do something together, like a trio, like the three of us. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll just ask him if he can take you snipe hunting first. It'll get you prepared.
What is snipe hunting? I'm so ignorant. This is like and I'm not, everyone's like, oh, you're a California guy. I grew up in Connecticut, okay? I'm from the wilderness, but I don't know what snipe hunting is.
I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you what it is because you just kind of have to do it. And
it's like the Fight Club. You can't talk about it?
Yeah, you really can't. You know what we can talk about, though? The best.
You know what's the problem is we got this thing called Google, and now I'm just probably going to do it during our conversation. But anyway, go ahead.
Hopefully
go
you
ahead.
forget.
I'm all ears.
Yeah, let's talk a little Aggie football, buddy. First time in a long time, and I'm even saying after the UMass game, like first time in a long time, we saw ourselves a great performance.
Yeah. No, listen. And I think, first of all, happy for Ags fans, right? It's been a long season, and I just. Everything came together, but I do think and again, these are the conversations that we can have, that if I try to say something positive about Texas A&M on a national scale, oh my goodness, Jimbo. So what I bring up is it was a tough year, results wise, but there was a reason that it was a tough year, and it was you're down to a third string quarterback who I think we all wanted to see anyway. But you're down to your third-string quarterback, who's, of course, a true freshman. Anaya Smith goes down early, multiple starters on the offensive line. And so, my whole thing is, I don't know I don't know how any school could deal with the volume of injuries that A&M did. And so to see it come together for at least 1 year, for at least one game, this year, I think is a totally positive sign. And I think, a couple other things is, and I saw people say this after the game. I do think it's true. I think the win and assuming there's no chaos in the portal, which we discussed last week, I don't personally buy the narrative that, the 2022 class is going to be decimated through the portal outside of guys that would normally transfer because they don't play. But, now all these guys have big time experience. And so, you started to see some of those young guys kind of come into their own late in the game against, late in the season against really good SEC competition. So disappointing, win-loss record. No one's saying it's a net positive as a season, but, I don't claim to follow recruiting a ton, but I know the guys that were in that class. I know how many of them saw the field this year, were thrown into the fire in some cases, and I think you use it as a building block to go into 2023.
Talking to Aaron Torres here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Hugh Freeze, and
sure,
he's been looks like he's on some fitness plan. He looks a little different, but what do you think about his connection there now, or his new regime at Auburn?
Well, I forget if we talked about this because it's been a few weeks. First of all, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I forgot to mention that.
Same to you, bro.
Yeah, man. So, no, listen, I never bought the Lane Kiffin stuff. Now, I talked about it like crazy because it was great content, but I always felt like he was leveraging Ole Miss to get more there. And so once you get past that, I think we can all do the song and dance about, blah, 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 blah. This is what he did in the past. It's like, here's my thing. I think, the stuff that we know, it's on his Wikipedia. And I've talked to him about this. I've had him on my show. It's like, it's on his Wikipedia page. It's never going away. But in terms of the stuff that he got fired at Ole Miss for, my stance is, if his wife has forgiven him and his kids have forgiven him, it's not my place to take a more high ground. Now, there was some other stuff that came up over the last couple weeks is, like any big coaching search, you start to dig through the past, whatever. And I bring that up to say, David, you've been around this for a while. This is why you hire a search firm, right? And if there's any doubt, and I think John Cohen even kind of referenced this off the top is thorough vetting, all that stuff. It's like, this is why you hire a search firm. And so if they found anything that they thought was truly unscrupulous, then you don't hire him or whatever. But at the end of the day, and part of what, Texas A&M's problem this year, right? It's a results-based business. We could talk about this, that, the other thing. You got to win games. And Hugh Freeze, obviously, I believe, is the guy that puts Auburn in the best position to win the most games possible in the SEC. Obviously, we know about the 2 wins over Nick Saban. But I think more importantly, this isn't just a guy that won in the past in the SEC. He did really well at Liberty, transitioning that school from FCS to FBS. He won 10 games in year 2, was 8-1 this year, before he ran into the buzzsaw that was UConn football. And obviously, look, he won at Arkansas this year, which I think speaks to that the guy's still got something left in the tank. So, to me, listen, if you're either an Auburn fan or an opposing fan that the guy just makes your skin crawl, okay, whatever, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But like I said, what we know, he's been very vocal about, very transparent about. And again, if his wife and kids have forgiven him, it's not my place to decide what's right and what's wrong. And now we just get another really good coach in the SEC, and I'm really fascinated to see how it all plays out.
What's going to happen with Deion?
I don't know, man. What I said yesterday, and I truly believe it, and I think there's a little bit of a parallel in Texas that I'll explain in a minute, is I do find it very interesting that, within 24 to 48 hours of the season being done, Nebraska hired its coach, Auburn hired its coach, Georgia Tech, Trent freaking Dilfer's a head coach. What's the other one I'm missing? Arizona State, Wisconsin, et cetera, et cetera. And so I just find it very interesting that Colorado is just kind of like, no, we're not in a rush. No, transfer portal. No, we're good. We're hanging. Like, to me, it's just something doesn't add up unless they feel really confident that he's their guy. And maybe, they play a game this weekend. Maybe they're willing to wait an extra week to see if he'll take it, but it feels like it has to be something more than that, at least in my opinion, and I could be totally wrong. So that's my kind of armchair analysis of that situation. But again, with Deion, it comes down to everything that everyone has talked about with him is it's hard to know what his end game is. He's obviously not motivated by money. He's given back some of his salary actually to Jackson State to help the football team and the football program. So I just don't think anybody really knows what his motivation is, and until we find that out, we're not going to find that out until we find out an answer at Colorado. But again, I just find it very interesting that everybody else had their guy in place within 48 hours after the season. We're now, 6 days removed from Colorado's season being over, and they seem content to just hang out. And by the way, and we know that he has the offer too. He himself has confirmed Bruce Feldman's report, which I find interesting.
Aaron, so let me see if I can phrase it the right way.
Okay.
How different, or who's going to be, let's go with the who. Who's going to be the media darling this offseason? Because last offseason, at least from SEC coaches, it was Sam Pittman. They obviously did not have a good year. Is it Josh Heupel this offseason that can do no wrong?
Shane Beamer, probably Shane Beamer. And,
true.
I got to take an L on that one because, I remember the week after the Ags played them. That's a perfect example of how close the Ags were. All of a sudden, you look up and South Carolina's 8-4 with obviously those two huge wins to end the year. I got to take an L on Shane Beamer, man. I said the week that A&M played him, I said, I think the guy's a lot of sizzle, not a lot of steak. And, you look at the early part of his career, he won the games that he was supposed to, but his best wins were, against Kentucky without Will Levis or, Florida right before they fired Dan Mullen. Well, obviously the last 2 weeks have kind of spoken to, he clearly has buy-in. Now, what I think is interesting with him is, I don't know what to make of him because you look at their season, they got blown out by Florida 3 weeks ago, and now none of that matters because of the way the season ended. But I think Josh Heupel's a good one too, and I've loved the Tennessee story. You and I are about the same age, and Tennessee was great when I was a kid, kind of starting to watch college football, and so I've been happy to see them have the success that they do, but the success that they had this year. But I do wonder, how much of it was Hendon Hooker, and if you don't get some facsimile of him, like he's just crazy accurate, crazy poised, crazy composed, and we've seen Joe Milton. I don't know if he's an SEC starting quarterback, athletic, but wildly inaccurate. Obviously, they have Nico coming in, but is he going to be ready? So I could see Josh Heupel. I think Shane Beamer's the guy, but I could see Tennessee going from 10-2 this year, back down to 7-5 if the quarterback doesn't click really quick.
Any chance Bama gets in?
Yeah, I think so. I don't like it, but I think so. And, I actually hate it. Listen, USC is playing for their playoff berth. I think we all understand that. You can't lose a second time to Utah and make an argument that you really deserve to be in. And look, I think TCU, I think they should be in. I think, frankly, regardless of what happens this week. But I think we all know at the end of the day, that this is a TV show. This is an entertainment product, and I wish it wasn't that way. But yeah, I think they can get in. I do think it, barring something shocking like, say Michigan losing to Purdue, I would think that Ohio State has the inside track. Obviously, if Michigan were to lose to Purdue, it would devalue Michigan's win over Ohio State, in the process devaluing Ohio State. But I do get the sense that Ohio State is ahead of them. But yeah, I think Bama can get in. It would totally send the wrong message. I hate it. I've been one from the beginning. I think Tennessee should be ranked ahead of them at the very least. And so I think if TCU and USC were to lose, I would still put in TCU. But I think Tennessee should be ahead of Alabama. But yeah, I think they can get in. They need a lot of help. I don't like it. I don't think they deserve to be in. I think they kind of sleptwalk through the entire season. I think Nick Saban would privately tell you it's one of the most disappointing years of his career. That doesn't strike me as a team that deserves to be one of four competing for a national championship.
Aaron, we appreciate your time, brother. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Nuño, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, bro. AT on the hotline here, breaking it all down, as he always does. Right now we're talking Caprock Health System. So let's just play out the scenario. I go snipe hunting, all right? Let's just play it out. And, they already told me how dangerous it is. And I'm out there and, something happens where I got to go to the emergency room. I don't know. Cut my finger with thorns, whatever, right? Knife falls on my foot. I got to go to an emergency room. I'm going to Caprock because I know that they're going to take great care of me. They're going to immediately be like, you went snipe hunting? What a loser. But we want you to feel better. So come here and we'll get you out of here as quickly as possible. But if my stay is going to be longer than expected, they're going to manage every element of it because they have a very low patient-to-doctor-nurse ratio. So that means they're going to get to know me and my medical needs and individual needs. You got to go check out Caprock, where their sole purpose is to make you feel better. They are 100% locally owned and operated right here in the Brazos Valley. They put the patient first in every decision that they make, and they have a couple great locations here in town. You've got Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station. They both have zero wait time for emergency care, so you'll never have to sit in a crowded waiting room. It is Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Glen Bryan Theater Troupe presents Fellow Passengers, an inventive adaptation of Charles Dickens' classic, A Christmas Carol. Performances are being held at various locations through Saturday. Purchase your tickets at blinn.edu/box office. Texas A&M University Chorale Activities present the annual Holiday Spirit of Aggieland Chorale Concert this Sunday at 3 p.m. in Rutter Auditorium. Purchase your tickets online at boxoffice.tamu.edu. The Texas A&M Corps of Cadets invite you to Holiday on the Quad this Sunday from 5 to 9 p.m. Join the cadets for games, crafts, food, and drinks, plus plenty of photo ops for the entire family. Submit your event to news@WTAW.com. Get into the holiday spirit with Christmas 97.3 FM, playing your favorite holiday hits 24/7 through the entire holiday season. Christmas 97.3 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
J. Cody Steaks and Barbecue, Horseshoe Junction Family Fun Park, M&M Apparel, and Premium Rapid Lube. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Vanderwood with Veribank. Veribank is continuing to grow in the Brazos Valley with a brand new full-service banking center on Highway 6 in front of Academy. We have a team of genuine bankers specializing in personal and business banking, wealth management, and investor real estate lending ready to serve you. Veribank is here to help you succeed financially, and you can bank on it.
Visit Verabank.com today. That's VERA Bank.com. Verabank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The biggest names in sports are on ESPN Radio.
Joe Davis, New Orleans Saints linebacker.
We just keep chopping wood, keep sharpening the axe day by day. When you have a good process, that's what you focus on.
Julian Love, New York Giants defensive back.
It's been good to leave your house or whatever on Monday, and you see a lot of people on the streets just walking wearing the Giants gear.
Joined now by the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, New Orleans Saints safety.
I think we got enough fight in us, and obviously we got enough football left, so I believe in us, no doubt.
Former Eagles safety, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Weapon X, Brian Dawkins.
It wasn't that moment that makes me want to rip his head off. It's just that he was in the other jersey. That's the way it works.
Curtis Martin, former Jets running back and Pro Football Hall of Famer.
I love having Key as a teammate. He was one of those guys who you knew you could depend on, no matter what, came hell or high water.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
A lot of text messages about the snipe hunting. A lot. Somebody says, real Aggies hunt. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. You can text the show on the A&B text line 979-693-1150. Anna Rosa Peterson, any text message from the group of many, and there's some that are actually football talk, that caught your attention that's worth saying here?
Yeah, so William in Fort Worth says, I attended the TCU Providence men's basketball game last night in Fort Worth with my 4th grade son.
Oh, fun.
There were several loud BS and refs you suck chants from the student section. We never did that when I was at A&M, and even self-checked each other with the simmer down Ags. And if anyone was getting out of line at sporting events, I just hate these classless chants. Has A&M stooped to this level now? Please tell me Aggieland is still classy.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I remember going with a friend of mine to a sporting event where they told me, they're like, dude, it's a sporting event. You bring your kids there, you're going to hear stuff. Like, it's the real world. And I remember being so turned off by that in the other way that I was just like, you know what? Read the room. If there's kids around, take a chill pill, right? I understand that there's certain environments, but I don't care where you're at. If there's kids around, you should certainly consider the audience out there and who's listening, and that's just me.
Yeah. I would say you're going to get that wherever you go, but A&M is definitely standing out and being much more classy than
real
schools.
Aggies are classy.
I agree.
I don't know. All right, guys, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, we will talk with the fan show guys. Talk about snipe hunting. Can you imagine going with those dudes? We'll have those guys next here on TexAgs Radio.
Gotta be connected with The Zone. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at The Zone 1150. Like us on Facebook at The Zone 1150. Programming alerts, prize updates, scores from games all across Brian Broadcasting, contest news, and more. Connect with us and always be in the know. Can't remember what team is playing on what station? When are they giving away what? And when is the coach on the show? Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Zone 1150. And be sure to like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. And always be in the know.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is Aggieland's home for Aggie football, Aggie basketball, and Aggie baseball. The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with the news update on The Zone. Bryan police receive a report of a man who was found dead in a home by someone who knew the victim. A BPD spokesman tells WTAW News that there is evidence of a homicide. An autopsy will be done, and the victim's identity is expected to be released today. Officers responded yesterday morning to a home on Cabot, a block north of Carson. College Station's new mayor says it will take some time to negotiate an agreement with Texas A&M to acquire space at the former Macy's store at Post Oak Mall.
Citizens will see some real outcome from that, certainly from the Macy's project in the next, I'd say, 6 months to a year in terms of initiatives, the letter of intent between the university and the city on the Macy's building.
John Nichols says the city is also negotiating to sell land, hinting that could involve a portion of 200 acres the city owns next to the recently opened Costco store. Brazos County's new congressman is also the incoming chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Speaking on WTAW, Michael McCall of Austin brought up illegal immigrants crossing a wide-open Mexican border during the Biden administration.
And now the fentanyls are pouring in from China. We've lost 75,000 children this year due to fentanyls. Put that in perspective, that's as many as we lost in Vietnam over 2 decades.
McCall plans to visit leaders in Mexico and Central America to renegotiate the so-called